Hi, we're here with Dale Wilcox today, the Executive Director and General Counsel of the Immigration Reform Law Institute. Dale, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Great. And so I thought, what you do is very unique in the sense that you're involved in the legal side of immigration. Normally in the news we hear about what they're doing in the legislative branch to try and pass some immigration reform. What are the current issues right now legally that you're battling with your institute?
Well, my organization is the only pro-rule of law, pro-enforcement, public interest law firm out there. So whereas you have the American Immigration Lawyers Association, 13,000 plus lawyers, you have ACLU, on and on and on, all the open borders groups, we're it when it comes to sensible immigration policy. So we have been very busy going around the country defending President Trump's initiatives and policies. So we've been involved in, obviously, the executive order over national security that paused immigration from several countries that were high terror risks. We're defending the president's policy there. Liberal courts have struck that down. Thankfully, the Supreme Court recently stayed those injunctions of his travel ban policy. We're involved in all the sanctuary city battles around the country. We're in LA and Washington State and Chicago and Philadelphia, on and on and on. So we've never been more busy.
And so what is the environment like? Is it hostile right now with federal judges overall? Because I know there's been cases in which people have been surprised to see federal courts say that Trump's travel ban was unconstitutional, and then we later see the Supreme Court overturn those cases. What needs to be done to fix that? What is the environment like? Is it hostile?
Yes, it is. Sadly, it's political. So what you're seeing is opposition groups going to favorable circuits, mainly the Ninth Circuit out on the West Coast, and they're bringing these cases and getting judges who politically despise Trump and his policies, and they are issuing rulings that are not in accordance with law, that heretofore would have never been adjudicated the way it's been adjudicated. These judges have basically taken all the authority that Congress has given the president away from him to regulate who comes into the country.
And then in California, for instance, we've seen that the California, whether it's the cities or the state, have tried to suggest that the local police should not be allowed to work with immigration officials. What is that battle like right now? Is there chances that that's going to change?
Well, as I said, there are several cases around the country. California obviously is involved in that. There's one case, Los Angeles versus Sessions, and on and on and on. States do have some room to say, we're not going to cooperate. We're not going to take our resources and do your job. Okay, there is a level there of autonomy, and as states' rights types of individuals, I'm all for that. The 10th Amendment. However, there is a line where California has crossed. And now they are telling, they just passed a law, AB 450 here, that went into effect in January, that says that employers cannot cooperate with the feds when they come to do workplace raids. They cannot, unless the ICE has a judicial warrant, and if you know anything about immigration law, it's civil. So it doesn't go through the regular Article 3 judicial process. So they're asking for things that could never happen. But unless you have a judicial warrant, you can't, employer, we will fine you thousands of dollars if you cooperate with ICE. So California has stepped over the line. They have exceeded what they're allowed to do under the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution.
So is the administration fighting back?
Well, at this point, the administration has not brought a lawsuit, but they are looking at it. I can tell you that. I can't go into much more. We're working with the administration, and they're aware of it. They're taking it in hand, and they're doing things.
And then, of course, you mentioned DACA in the beginning. It's something that you've been involved in. And I think it was a week or two ago we heard about a judge saying that DACA was not. Parts of DACA were unconstitutional as well. What's the status on that?
Well, actually, what has occurred is President Trump is phasing out DACA, And the expiration date is March 5th. And federal courts in both New York and California have enjoined him from ending DACA. So the New York case was probably the one you just heard about. That opinion was handed down a week ago. The California case has been going a little bit longer. That case is actually in the Ninth Circuit now. The Ninth Circuit has agreed to expedite the briefing on this case, and we'll have an opinion from them shortly, and I'm sure the federal government will appeal to the Supreme Court because we all know how the Ninth Circuit's likely to rule that the president can't end DACA.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Dale. I appreciate having you on. That was Dale Wilcox, the Executive Director and General Counsel from the Immigration Reform Law Institute.
Thanks for having me.